Update you on our other breaking news story that are reaching us this hour, and that is the attack that happened in Tunisia. The death toll now is 27 people, and they have been killed in a shooting at two hotels in the Tunisian resort of Sousse. Unknown gunmen opened fire at the tourists, and that's according to the media, citing sources in the country's interior ministry. One of the gunmen was shot dead. Earlier reports claimed there had also been a blast at one of the hotels. Sousse is one of the most popular tourist destinations in Tunisia, attracting up to 1.2 million people from around the world each year. Well, for more analysis, now let's cross to Sergio Altuna, a researcher focusing on jihadist movements and political Islam. Thanks so much for joining us here on RT, sir. So the first question is, how could gunmen walk into hotels packed with tourists right in the middle of the day? Does it mean there has been no security there at all?
Hi, good morning to everybody. Well, there was definitely security because the country is under a big risk for the last months. The thing is that they were, probably not as, the place was not as secure as it should be. There have been reports that the gunmen came from the beach, so it's difficult to control. They could have been dressed as tourists or just with a bathing suit. We don't really know that as for now. And well, they didn't enter the hotel from the main entrance, so they could access the beach by just crossing through other entrances of the beach and started shooting at the tourists directly, with a death toll that just like you said, of 27 victims. As for now, it could be higher, and let me highlight that this is the highest death toll of a jihadist terrorist attack in Tunisian soil ever.
Well, certainly the investigation now that is ongoing will bring more findings as to how it happened and what could have been done to prevent these attacks. But looking at the reports that we have right now, they're coming from different sources. And the two hotels became targets at the same time. So it seems like this was very well organized, wasn't it?
Yes, but let me clarify one thing. The attack was carried out by two men that stormed through the beach of the hotel, started shooting. Then on the runaway, as they were running through the beach, they passed through another beach. Let's have in mind, all of us, that this is a coastal area with many resorts. The one line up after the other, and on the runaway, they started shooting at the next hotel, at the tourists that were sunbathing at the beach in the next hotel. So it was not two attacks, it was one attack and the continuation of it.
Well, certainly we are covering two stories now, two attacks that happened, one in France and the other one in Tunisia. And I certainly cannot not ask you about the attack in France there. Do you think there is some sort of a coincidence here that both attacks happened at the same time, and Tunisia is a former colony of France? What do you make of this?
Not exactly because of the reason you mentioned, but there are several interesting facts that we should have a look at. It's Friday, which is an important day for Muslims. Let's say it's their sacred day. Well, the attack took place possibly after prayer. We still don't know. Could be possible. And apart from that, we are at the most sacred month, which is Ramadan. And as we all know, attacks have been expected for several reasons. Everybody knows Daesh, so-called Islamic State, is celebrating their first year anniversary. And in Al-Adnani last speech, he was menacing different targets, amongst them, of course, the West, which of course the church belonged to, most possibly. So yeah, there are many reasons that point out that Ramadan was a month where attacks were to be expected, not only in Syria and Iraq, of course, where according to them is the period of the openings, of the conquests, but also in the West, as we've seen.
A lot of Muslims do find this abominable as these horrible attacks in both countries happen during the month of Ramadan, which is, as you mentioned, a very, very important holiday and the holiday of mercy and forgiveness. So let's now analyze why the hotels have been chosen for this particular attacks. I mean, why have the terrorists chosen harmless tourists?
Well, the most important reason, although it's not the only one, is that Tunisia, as we all know, is it's immersed in their transition towards a clean democracy. So this is this attack means a very serious target to this stability and to democracy, because the country will be perceived by tourists and by everybody as a dangerous country, not one to visit. And Tunisia needs more than ever support coming from the West, not only economic support, but also in terms of help regarding their political issues, society and civil society, etc., etc. So that's why terrorists try to target this phenomenon of the transition as a whole. So it's which is quite dangerous for the sake of Tunisia.
So that certainly was an attack that would impact the tourist industry in the country, in Tunisia, where, as we know, more than 1 million foreign tourists come to have holidays from all over the world. And that, of course, for the country, just like the neighboring Egypt, for example, remember the terrorist attacks that happened there, how they affected the countries in the region specifically, thrive on tourism, and that, of course, is important. All right, Sergio Altuna, thanks so much for talking to us and giving us your thoughts.